I taught a young girl before who didn't believe that I was a teacher. And the reason she did not believe that I was a teacher was because I was also a traveller. And it took some time for me to convince her that actually the opposite was true. And what she said to me was, I didn't believe that we could be those things. And that's something that has stayed with me for a very long time. I want those attitudes to change.
I was in the lecture hall one day and Dr. Hannah McGinley, who is a traveller graduate from Galway, came in, and I'm even getting emotional thinking about it now. It was my first time seeing a traveller, let alone a traveller woman, in that role, and my heart just swelled. I was so proud. I felt such a sense of belonging.
Two of my aunts are founders of the Traveller Visibility Group. My mother was also the local chairperson of Amnesty International, and as soon as I could walk, my grandfather used to do collections for the Irish Heart Foundation as well, and he used to have me on the streets shaking a bucket. So I think that's probably where my goodwill focus of my career came from.
There's no one way to be a traveller. There is no set in stone routine that you need to go through every day of your life to be a traveller, especially a traveller woman. Traveller is something that you are, it's not something that you do.
I'm an artist and a teacher. I'm also a traveller woman who grew up on a halting site with first-hand experience of the prejudice and misconceptions that society has about travellers.
I'm a campaigner for housing rights, equality, education, inclusion and raising political awareness.
I'm an educational support worker in the MTU Cork office.
I work in the private sector as a diversity inclusion manager, which basically means that I help people from minority backgrounds get into employment and also that they feel included within the workplace.
I really want the next generation of young travellers to go through the educational system and experience it in a positive way, in the same way that I experienced it, because more often than not when I speak to other travellers, unfortunately they've had a negative experience, and that's just not good enough. I want them to have positive experiences. The Traveller Graduate Network is a network of current students and graduates from the travelling community who have come together to support each other and others by using our experiences, both positive and negative, for the benefit of our community.
One of the things I'd like to achieve with the TGN is to be able to help someone that doesn't think that they're going to go forward with their education go a bit further than they think they could, and reach their potential eventually.
We've been through it, and that's why we want to kind of help other people through it so it's easier for them.
We endeavour to promote more inclusive and learning working environments for Irish travellers, and our mission is to encourage other members of the travelling community to believe in the possibilities that await them, supporting and encouraging the development of their potential through education so that they can engage in society with confidence and pride.
At the start, I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought I'm not going to be able to finish. I'm not like the other students. I don't have these capabilities. I don't have these skills. But when I came out, I was so proud, you know, and these are natural worries and these are natural fears, and we all have them. But there will always be support there for you. You just have to reach out and ask for it.
Our core belief is that travellers can be empowered to fulfil their potential and encouraged to continue with their education if the right supports are put in place. Supports from both inside the community and outside the community. Our belief and commitment is that the Traveller Graduate Network can help support and facilitate travellers and their families to reduce some of the hidden barriers and obstacles that they may face in returning to or continuing with their education.
I suppose it helps that we know the problems and we've faced them firsthand, so we know where people are coming from when they come to us with a problem or a situation.
Exactly, it's not like going to someone, who has no understanding of if someone says something, how that makes you feel, because they've never been through that.
I went into third level education not telling anybody who I was, and I filmed myself sitting in conversations, derogatory conversations about the travelling community, listening to it. When I did come out and everybody did know that I was a traveller, I felt like there was a weight lifted off my shoulders. I wish I'd done it at the start. I wish I told people who I was at the start. I feel like my journey would have been an awful lot different. You get to be the exception. You get to be like, lads, I'm the same as you. I'm here, I'm in college. I'm not part of this negative role. You get to change their mind.
I think in the past people often, and even today, hide who they are so that they can fit in. But I think more and more people, and particularly in colleges, are much more open-minded, and you can be who you are, and it's actually celebrated in universities and colleges. and people are a lot more interested in you as a person and understanding about your culture.
The most important thing for me, and I feel for us as a group, is that the children and the students understand that when they go through third level education, that they can do so with their identity intact, and that taking part in third level education is not going to dilute who they are as a traveller, who they are as an individual, or it's not going to erode at our culture.
I completely agree, Anne-Marie, 100%. I don't believe that in order to go through education, anybody should lose their identity. We believe that all families are different and that not all travellers are the same. We understand that our environment and the circumstances that surround us will influence the obstacles that we face as individuals and as family members.
It's very funny how most of us all seem to have the same experiences in different contexts, but we're not all the same people, we're not coming from the same place.
Like, we all have kind of a background in the travelling community, but all very different backgrounds too. Like, you know, we all don't come from the same area or the same types of families or anything like that. We're all very different. But the one thing that kind of brings us all together is we've all had similar experiences going through education, trying to get into employment, and I think that's what has brought us together and has got us all so passionate about being a part of this network.
We value the power of the family support system. We understand that it's important not just to bring the traveller student with us, that it's also important to bring the family with us, because education should be generational. Third level education should be generational. So not only do we want to open the doors for individual travellers, but we also want to make it generational, that their children will too go on to third level education.
Yes, it can be scary for both your family and yourself, but you know, sometimes you just have to take that leap of faith, and there is people there to support you.
We value the sense of community and unity shared, but we also value the need for independence, as it is independence that gives us power as an individual to be our true selves.
With the right supports in place, anybody can achieve their potential in education or employment.
I think every traveller has felt like they're the only traveller in the room at some point in their lives, like they're alone and isolated and different from everybody else.
By having the network, it's something that we can have like a phone book or a directory of people that we can kind of call on, so that while we were the first people in the room, often like the next generation doesn't have to be, like, you know.
I suppose as well at the same time is making business connections for our own selves, for job prospects in the future.
We value the education system as it develops individuals, it broadens their horizons and opens their minds.
Really what we want to do is help young people through second level and into college and into employment, and that's basically the crux of it, that we just want to make sure that nobody falls through the cracks.
Because it'll never be enough, just one, two, or a handful of us getting through third level education. There's power in numbers, and we will empower our community for change and our children for change once we can bring them with us.
We value our partnerships with parents and teachers, schools and colleges, traveller organisations and the Department of Education and Skills.
We've done it and we have the connections now, so we want to make sure that we're sharing that in the community.
It's about sharing our privilege, it's about sharing our social capital, and it's about ensuring that the student feels supported and never feels alone.
The core support that we can provide as a network, and the more people that come together with travellers helping other travellers, is the best thing that we can do, I suppose, to bridge the gap between travellers and society.
We value collaboration with business and enterprise, and we acknowledge that travellers need to believe that they have a chance of employment if they continue with their education.
People often say it's not what you know, it's who you know, and that's particularly true in Ireland. And I think that's often a disadvantage for people in the travelling community if they don't have anyone in their family who's gone to college, and particularly for your first job or your first work experience. So what we've done is walked that path and kind of opened lots of doors and gotten to know lots of people. We want to make sure that we share our network, we share our connections, and that we continue to open more doors for young people, so that the next generation, it doesn't have to be as hard as it was for us.
I believe younger generations of travellers need to see that we do have people among our community that are nurses and doctors, mechanics, beauticians, hairdressers, technicians, accountants, and so on. The list is endless, but unfortunately I believe there's lots of younger travellers that don't believe that that is the case.
The hardest part of it is getting your foot in the door on the first day. But when you go in that door, you will have a wraparound support, and they will never want to let you go. Do you know, that's the reality of it. Like,
I have to tell you, the Traveller Graduate Network is fun. If you are a Traveller Graduate, if you are a Traveller student, if you're a traveller looking to go back to education, if you're an alumni of an institution, I'd encourage anyone to get involved. The Traveller Graduate Network is there for core support, and the more connections we have, the more we can thrive as a community